And we're starting with the news that more than a third of separated parents believe that what they call pitiful paternity leave is to blame for their breakup. Currently, dads are entitled to 2 weeks of paid leave compared to countries like Spain, who offer 16 weeks off for new dads. Alternatively, parents can split the leave between them. But the question is, should paternity leave be the same as maternity leave, allowing both parents to be off together? What do you reckon, Cal?
Well, so I can only speak from like personal experience, but I think having equal paternity then gives you the options to be able to arrange that how you feel most comfortable. So parental dynamics are very different. You know, one might be able to take time off work, one might not be able to. You know, working shifts work differently for different parents.
Yeah.
For me, when I took, you know, when I had my time, obviously I've got my own business and I'm self-employed, so I had that flexibility. And the 2 weeks that that Jay had off was great because I was super tired. But at the same time, I wasn't trying to get into a routine with him being my support, because I knew that 2 weeks was soon going to be over, and I didn't want to get into a routine that wasn't one I could maintain. So you know, even though the 2 weeks was there, it was great. I still felt like I needed to be able to maintain a routine that I knew I could do by myself. So that I wasn't vulnerable when he did go. I think if dads did have more time, and I do often fight for these rights for my clients who are, you know, perhaps in the West End, who want to be able to do that. And I think some fathers really want to be that, you know, more active and aren't able because they're only limited to that 2 weeks, which is why I think if it was even, they'd then be able to have those conversations.
But even to have this conversation is a privilege, because there are lots of women in this country who simply do not have a partner who is there to be able to help them out, and that's what you went through, B.
Yeah. I listen to this conversation and I think to myself, it would be nice to have that option, to have a partner, you know, to even just to go to antenatal classes from something like that is where I feel that I didn't obviously have that support being the single mother. But, you know, I'm really proud that I was the mum and dad to both of my children and raised two beautiful children. So I'm not knocking that. But I think there's a lot of countries, you know, if there's a lot of countries that are giving 16 weeks, I think that we do need to address it in this country. And I think that I would have enjoyed having a partner there, feeling the belly moving and, you know, planning bottle feeds and things like that. I think that that responsibility should be equal.
But then we could play devil's advocate here. That costs money, and so is that where government funds should be plugging that gap? Is that what they should be doing? Because it's not 16 weeks is a lot of money to spend. Do you think it's worth the spend?
Well, look, I think it's worth the spend, because the reality is, if you have got a mother who is with the father and, you know, they only get the 2 weeks, that mother might be in a situation a year or 6 months later where she might need more time because of the stress and the pressures of actually having more time on her own with the baby. We know there's things like, you know, postnatal depression and all these kind of things that happen. So why wait for something to happen? Why don't you just give the extra time now so they can even it out between them? Myself, like you, Brenda, that wasn't an option. I was waiting 12 weeks, when's he coming back? But, you know, look, at the end of the day, it's something I went through and many other mums went through. And even if you have got the partner, I think that women need more time off anyway, just for our body, our mind and spirit. But let's not forget, men need to bond with their babies as well.
Well, do you know what? We did it in a slightly different way. So where we work at the other job, our paternity is 5 months, because we did share paternity. So 5 months full pay is what Andy was able to have, and we shared the paternity. COVID happened and lockdown, so that it wasn't quite the experience we thought it was going to be. But for lots of people that I work with, they share the paternity with their partners. So those early few months when a mother is getting used to the changes in her body, trying to get a routine with a baby or what have you, she's able to do that. And then when she then returns to work, then the dads then take their paternity leave, and routines are already in place. They know what they're doing, and then they get to enjoy baby in that way as well. And then when mum is at work, you can be at work and almost concentrate a bit more because you know that baby's at home with the other parent in their life. And I think, you know, when it comes to progression at work and all of these things, for the future of a country to be sustainable and, you know, that everybody's able to work at the pace that they want to, we do have to take into account needs of both parents, whatever that may be.
Definitely.